And for this time around in RAD 13, we are very happy to let you know that our new modern Win64 compiler has been updated to CLang and LLVM20. What this means is that CLang 20 and RAD 13 introduce C++23 support. So right now on C++ Builder, you will have the option to choose between one of the three ISOs. That means you can choose between C++17, C++20, and C++23. Now, if you build a new application with the new Win64 compiler, the default will be C++23, but nothing is in your way to choose any of the other ISOs. Another thing to keep in mind is that although we support C++23, not all features will be available, as we will only surface the ones that are currently available in CLang. To know exactly which features you will be allowed to use, you can go to one of the links shown in the slides and see what is available for you today. This is a significant update for us, as for the first time in a long time we are on pair with CLang, and their latest version is actually 20. And this means that Embarcadero is fully invested on C++ Builder. Now, to showcase some of these new things, let's jump into the IDE and see some demos. Now that we are in the IDE, let's have a look at some of the features that I talked about. So first, if you go under Project, Options, under Building C++ Compiler, you can choose in this drop-down which ISO do you want to program with. The options available will be ISO 17, ISO 20, or ISO 23. For Win64-bit Modern, keep in mind that any newly created project will use 23 as default. But for any other toolchain, you'll still be using C++17 and you can't choose any of these ISOs, only for the new modern toolchain. Now let's hit save and run this simple VCL app that I created. So what this app does is, if you click any of these buttons, it will run some code of these newly ISOs, some code that was introduced in either C++20 or C++23, and output the result. Now, for the purpose of these demonstrations, I will just look into the expected demo, as is one of the features that I like the most. So let's click on it. So what is expected? So expected is a value or error return type that either holds true for success or false for error. In this case, what we are doing in here is we have a safe divide function, and this function returns an std expected int or an std expected string, so either a value int or an error std string, without any exceptions, without any magic. And as we have seen from the demonstration, on success we either get a truly call and then we call .value on it, or we get a failure and it's falsy and we get to read the error. In this first case, we handle the success error because 10 divided by 2, it's a possible operation, so we outputted the result that is 5, and the result variable was a truthy value, so we enter in the first condition. But on the second case, where we try to divide by 0, the result variable contained false, so we ended the unexpected result, and we are able to access the error function to get the error message and handle it gracefully. Now, other cool thing that we can do with expected is that actually we can use compositions on it like .transform. In this case, we are using .transform to multiply the result by 2, but we can do other things like .and then and .or else for chaining success and handling errors. Other cool thing about this is that if it has an error, it will propagate it automatically. One of the cool things, and the reason that I like expected, is that we can use it to anticipate the recoverable errors, like input validations, parsing situations, and it's much nicer than just throwing an exception. Now let's get back again into the slides and see what else we have for C++23. So back to the slides, and alongside the move to LLVM and CLang 20, there are a few practical wins that we got on this release too. So first is an improved address sanitizer runtime on Windows 11. So memory bugs like use after free and overflows are caught earlier and more reliable. Second is our C++ runtime DLLs are now versioned. So this prevents conflicts when multiple RAD Studio versions are installed when you ship apps. And third is we improved compatibility with legacy C++ builder toolchains, so it's easier for you to migrate and bring older projects forward. So we expect that now it will be easier to bring any projects forward, and it will be a smoother transition for you.